The following is a presentation of the Pro Wrestling Report. Informative, entertaining, and real since 1998. Welcome to PWR Sudden Impact Radio, breaking down all that happened on tonight's Impact Wrestling broadcast on Spike TV. Sudden Impact Radio is on the air.
Good evening and welcome to Sudden Impact Radio, right here on Blog Talk Radio. I am the man they call Meathead. Thank you for joining us tonight on Sudden Impact Radio. Don't forget, if you want to join the program, give us a call at 877-317-9772, 877-317-9772, or area code 347-996-5278. Lots of big things to talk about tonight. We've got the Impact just about to go off the air. Bobby Roode standing in the middle of the ring, eyes closed, microphone up in the air, and also holding that World Heavyweight Championship, showing how much of a heel champion is as we close it out. Oh, it looks like he's got a bit of a moco in his nose, but closing in on Bobby Roode, showing who the heel and who the champion is of the company. Hardy laid out. James Storm laid out. The referee that always wears the Reeboks with the blue bottoms laid out. Earl Hebner laid out. Bully Ray chased off by Sting. What a very hot and very pressing, if you will, finish to Impact tonight. Again, if you want to talk on the program, don't forget to give us a call. Also, if you're going to use Twitter, make sure you're using the hashtag #SuddenImpact. We might read your tweets on the air. So let's talk about Impact tonight. First off, we had, opening up the show, again, an interview segment. You know, nothing wrong with that as long as it's not something that happens every week, but an interview segment where you have the Cowboy James Storm coming out, and he talks about how, you know, blah, 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 this, I've been screwed, blah, 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 that, I want my title match, blah, 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 blah. Not quite sure why we're getting the same message over and over from James Storm, but, you know, it just goes on. He goes on to a diatribe, you know, kind of feeds into what the crowd wants. Hey, how y'all doing out there tonight? James Storm, he, you know what, he does deserve a title match. He does deserve the chance to get in there and talk. James Storm does deserve the opportunity for another title match, just like, as we see coming out to the ring, Jeff Hardy deserves another shot, another title match, I guess, another opportunity, if you will. Now, Dwayne, I don't know how you feel about this, but again, another interview segment to start off Impact tonight.
Yeah, I mean, that's the route that they're going. The imitation of WWE can't be complete without the opening segments the way that they are.
Yeah. I guess, you know, it's still entertaining. You know, I don't have that big of an issue with it, but it seems like it's the same thing over and over again. So, well, we get that set off. And again, this was a segment, I don't know why they did this, but this was a segment that they taped twice. I don't know, again, those of you that read spoilers, those of you that don't read spoilers, I read it only because I have to have an idea of what's been going on beforehand and afterhand. They did this segment twice, once on the Monday and then again on the Tuesday during the taping, so I don't know what they didn't like about the first one, but this was the segment that was redone, but it does set up the main event, Jeff Hardy versus James Storm, who both have legitimate beefs, Sting playing to the crowd. And again, you know, I don't want to get up on the soapbox, I don't want to start, but the Impact crowd just didn't look like they were into it. It was kind of snoozers. You know, he had to basically try to beg the crowd to participate. Who do you think should be in the match? I think I hear 4 people yelling Hardy, so let's pick Hardy. Dwayne, what do you think about that?
Definitely, and I think that's an issue that they consistently had throughout the show with the crowd and just the energy level, the heat factor, or shall I say lack thereof, for a lot of different segments.
Yeah, and it's taken away from the TV feel. It's taken away from, you know, the way it looks and the way it feels on television. I have a hard time really buying into what's going on when we see that kind of thing going. You know, not only am I watching the wrestling program, not only am I listening to what's going on television, but I'm paying attention to everything that's going on in the background. The background is killing it for me. But like I said, Sting, who, you know, even though he's not wrestling, is still wearing his gloves and sunglasses, letting us know it's showtime. And that's our main event, Jeff Hardy and Cowboy James Storm. No Kurt Angle tonight, by the way. But, Kurt needs a break here and there. So that's the first match of the night. Go ahead, Dwayne.
Tell me this. Do you think that if they dimmed the lights on the crowd a bit, would that help with the enjoyment of the show if it was?
Absolutely.
We couldn't see the crowd as clearly.
You know what you need the light? Just ringside. Just like the ringside. But, they have gone that route. Not all the way, but they have gone that route. Because back in the day they had that huge LED, light-up board that was in the back that showed,
right.
Impact Wrestling, and it kept flashing. Do you see that anymore?
No.
They sell that board off?
No, was it the blue one that with the flame?
Oh, no, it was an LED board that actually was like a video board that was just showing the.
Oh yeah, I don't see that anymore.
Side.
You're absolutely right.
Right. So, in my opinion, and Dwayne, you're 100% right on this. Dim it out just a little bit, and just show us ringside. But you can control, because it's your television studio. You can control who sits down there. Put wrestling fans that are going to be into the show into it. Now, granted, they do a pretty good job of it, I think, even though they have the same wrestling fans, it looks like, every week, like the TNT group. Sits ramp side, who didn't have Tara or Tess Mocker come out to the ring tonight, but they're still there. So, again, it's the same group that's been there. I swear they're from the Orlando area, because I swear I've seen them on different months' worth of television. And, again, that throws somebody off. We're not supposed to just blindly pay attention to what is going on in a ring or what's happening, that the commentators are talking about. Our eyes will watch everything. And even the casual wrestling fan is going to pick up, man, I see these guys in the crowd every week. That doesn't make any sense.
Makes none.
Yeah, so, again, if you want to call into the program, I know we got calls sitting on hold, but we're going to run down a little bit more Impact before we get to the calls. The number to call in, 877-317-9772, or area code 347-996-5278. Let's talk about your guy, Dwayne. As I used to joke with Damian back in the day on PWR, I'm going to tell everyone that your next big thing is Gunner, and let everybody know how much a Gunner fan you are. But
I'm not a Gunner fan.
Yeah, it's funny because I kept telling Damian over and over. I don't know if it's just because I have a stronger mind than Damian, but Damian got behind Big Rob Terry when I kept telling everybody Big Rob Terry was his next big thing of like 2009. But Gunner coming to the ring again with Ric Flair. Now, I'd like to slow down the Impact talk for a second, and let's talk Ric Flair. And you can, obviously, if you've heard the news, and I want to hear what your opinion is on the WWE. And for those that complain that we never talk WWE on this post-Impact show, we're about to do it in a second here. You've heard the news that WWE will be inducting the Four Horsemen into their, remember, it's not the official Hall of Fame of all of wrestling. It's the WWE's Vince McMahon's Hall of Fame. But the Four Horsemen, including Ric Flair, will be going into their Hall of Fame, and it is announced that Ric Flair is supposed to be showing up for that event. Dwayne, what do you think?
Well, I mean, there are a lot of different Hall of Fames. I think that this is probably the largest and the most visible to casual fans, as well as the main, as well as the core wrestling fans. This is the thing about it. WWE has not said that Flair is going to be there, but Flair said it. It's been implied, and I think that it's a good thing for Impact Wrestling that Flair goes. It's going to put him on a big platform, and that's their guy under contract for at least another year. I don't think that they should try to stop it at all. I think that they should go forward with it, and as the time comes, move him in a more significant role, get him away from Gunner in a better role. I think he needs to be a face, and they need to get the full benefit of this exposure that Flair is going to get.
Yeah, because with the exception of his first, I'd say 2 to 3 weeks in TNA, where he was coming out to the ramp watching AJ's matches, he's been heel since.
Right.
I mean, really think about it. He's been heel since after, he took AJ under his wing and turned AJ into, Little Nate, not Charles Robinson, but, the Little Nate of 2009, 2010, whatever it was. Flair's been kind of a heel ever since. So, turning him around and making him a fan favorite and getting him out there and moving him away from Gunner, I think is a great idea. I don't know how they make this work for them, though, because what will WWE allow them to do? Because if this were a perfect world and not the wrestling world, I would say, you know what, milk it for every, publicity, every bit of publicity that you can get. Say, TNA's Ric Flair will be at the WWE Hall of Fame. Here's footage from, to the Hall of Fame, and here's TNA's Ric Flair accepting this great award, TNA's Ric Flair. And, again, TNA's Ric Flair. TNA's Ric Flair. You pound that detail home. Think Vince is going for that? I don't think so.
No, that's not going to happen.
So truly, how does TNA benefit from Ric Flair showing up at that event? I'm thinking out loud right now. So.
Yeah, I know what you mean. From in a direct standpoint, they're not going to mention it. I don't think it's really an issue of a money. I think it's more so the visibility of Flair, with in press and things like that. It could be mentioned that that he's a former WWE wrestler, and if people inquire as to where he is now, he's in Impact Wrestling. From that standpoint. But I think with each year that passes by, TNA has to Impact Wrestling has to think about why don't they have a Hall of Fame?
Yeah, but then again, the TNA's Hall of Fame, honestly, I don't know if it would work even in the next 10 years, 15 years. I think they should do something and incorporate themselves into the real Hall of Fame. A lot of people have said that, and I always mispronounce the word because, I'm from Wisconsin, but the Cauliflower Hall of Fame, which has been referred to as the real Hall of Fame of professional wrestling. If TNA could find their way into that, be like a co-promoter of it, I think that would work out well for them. So, not to stay on the topic too long. You know what I mean? Though I think that could be an opportunity to get them more mainstream, accepted more so in the wrestling community. But Dwayne, I'm going to head out to the phones. All right, you ready for these guys to come in? We got a bunch of people holding. I think it's time to get them on. We'll start off with area code 269. 269. Your first name and the state that you're calling from. Go ahead.
Hey, this is David from Michigan.
David from Michigan. Welcome back to Sudden Impact Radio. What do you want to talk about tonight, David?
That is interesting about the whole Flair thing. I don't think Vince will let him wear an Impact Wrestling T-shirt accepting his award, but I think
in those thoughts, David, do you think Ric Flair would wear an Impact Wrestling T-shirt? Do you think Ric Flair would even
pay him enough? I think he would.
About Ric Flair, yeah.
But anything else? Impact. I don't know. It was a good show, but what is it really giving you besides what WWE's giving you now? What separates it right now, really?
Good hardcore.
I had to watch it tonight, and it's like the Divas match was probably the best match of the night.
The knockouts?
Yeah, knockouts. My bad, knockouts.
That's okay because the Divas, are there to look pretty, right, Dwayne? They're not really there to wrestle.
Definitely.
So they can wrestle, unlike the WWE, they actually get a chance to wrestle.
Right, exactly. So, all right. Anything else you want to talk about tonight before we let you go? What'd you think of Impact? Pass or fail?
It was a pass. There was good matches. I really enjoyed Joe and Magnus as a tag team.
Yes.
Yes. There was going to be that bad guy tag team like the Brainbusters. They were just going to come in and beat you up, which I like that.
And that's what I thought. And again, thank you for the call. Make sure you call again next week. That's what I thought they were going to do with Magnus and Crimson. Dwayne, I thought they were going to have this just, real rough and mean and lean and just beat your head in and move on to the next one. But it looks like Magnus and Joe is that team.
Yeah, it appears that way. To what the caller said about Impact separating itself. What else can they do? They've gone the extreme raunchy route. They've gone a full imitation of WWE. They've even tried to do an imitation of WCW.
Right.
I don't really know what else that they can really do.
I think they need to stay on the path that they're on, which is basically, you know what, highlight your top group of guys, get your girls out there, have some comedy bits, and some tag team wrestling. I think they're on the right path, to be honest with you. So, you know, it is what it is. Hey, we're going to go to our next caller. Yeah, we're going to go to our next caller, area code 973. What's your first name and what's the state you're calling from?
Yeah, Don from New York. What's up, Meathead? What's up, Dwayne?
Tom or Tom?
Hey, what's going
Don?
on?
Did you say Don or Dom?
Don, D-O-N.
Oh, D-O-N. What's up, Don?
They mentioned tonight they're going to do some tapings in England, so that should ease the background noise / the audience for you a little bit. I know you were pretty keen last week to mention you saw somebody bored and texting in the background. I saw somebody twiddling their thumbs tonight in the background.
Yeah, exactly. But you bring up a great point, Don, is the fact that with them heading out to London, England, or, you know, trying to pronounce it like Wayne and Garth always do, but I'll tell you what, you know, that's going to be a hot crowd because here they've got some wrestling from the States, you know, from America coming over to them. So regardless if they, you know, crap in the middle of the ring, I think they're going to be hot fans.
Yeah, and you compare it to the, you know, old ECW crowd days, you know, how it could be like that, just a rabid crowd base, how much more exciting it makes the product, and you contrast it to, you know, people texting and twirling their thumbs in the background. But right. it's still, you know, like Rex Ryan says about Mark Sanchez, he's a knucklehead, but he's our knucklehead, and that's TNA, you know. It has its TNA moments, but we still like it. But no, I just give it a pass because the knockouts match, we had 2-segment knockout match plus Angelina Love and what's her name? Velvet Sky came out today and said she's hoping for a Beautiful People reunion, so that's pretty cool. So I'll give it a pass based on a lot of female wrestling and Miss Winter cutting a killer promo in the back.
I thought she looked good. Yeah, I thought she looked good. Again, thank you for the call. We appreciate you calling in. Dwayne, how did you feel that the girls looked tonight, especially Winter, with the beatdown?
Yeah, I mean, the girls, you know, 9 times out of 10, the girls are going to come through and save the show and save the day. They don't get the main event billing very rarely, and they're definitely not paid the high end of the totem pole. But they came through tonight, and yeah, I mean, I was pleased with them.
Yeah, I thought so too. Hey, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll get to more of your phone calls. We'll run down the rest of Impact. You are listening to Sudden Impact Radio right here on Blog Talk Radio.
You're listening to PWR Sudden Impact Radio, breaking down all that happened on tonight's Impact Wrestling Broadcast. Don't forget to follow PWR right here on Blog Talk Radio right now. Be reminded of upcoming episodes and never miss Blog Talk Radio's most popular sports show. Follow PWR now. This is the Pro Wrestling Report. Informative, entertaining, real.
Welcome back to Sudden Impact Radio right here on Blog Talk Radio, the man they call Meathead, along with Dwayne Williams. We're talking about Impact from tonight, also taking your phone calls. Number to call in, 877-317-9772 or area code 347-996-5278. Also, don't forget the chat-osphere is up and running. Guys are in there talking about wrestling, talking about everything else that's going on, and we got Twitter and Facebook as well. If you're going to want a chance to have your tweets read on Twitter, make sure you're using the hashtag Sudden Impact. Dwayne, we're going to talk a little bit more about Impact before we get back to the phone zone or whatever the phone blast-off place, whatever we're going to call it. We'll come up with a gimmick name for that. You know what?
How about that?
We'll have to work on that. We'll come up with a gimmick name because I'm all about not using things we've already used and try to use something new. We'll see how that works out. But let's talk about Crimson and Magnus one-on-one. Now, there was a little promo beforehand with Magnus calling Crimson a meathead. And I don't see how that's an insult. I'm not quite sure how that was supposed to come off, but I was like, ooh, a meathead. Not bad. We're going to have to get that sound drop and put that on the program. Listen here, this meathead Crimson. But I do like what's going on here between Crimson, Magnus, Joe, and Matt Morgan. Lots of heat, lots of passion, lots of just anger and violence.
Yeah, I think they have. I think they're onto something here, and this is a program that's going to continue at least for another pay-per-view.
Yeah, and again, fantastic. And with the A-Double walking down in the ring and talking about how there's nobody left in the back to beat, and out comes Alex Shelley. Apparently, there's another tag team on the way. Once Chris Sabin is back and ready to go, we've got another tag team that will be on its way out. So I think they got a chance to keep a tag team program going for a long time. Now, what did you think of the A-Double segment? Yeah, what did you think of the A-Double segment?
I always like his character. I like his mic work. I really think that he could be used well in WWE at some point in time. I just want the X division to seem more like an actual division. To me, it just seems like, a handful of people that they just rotate in and out. I want it to seem more like a division. But I've always been impressed with the champion.
Yeah, and he cut a little promo before his promo. He goes, look, you can't turn away with me talking about the things I'm going to talk about. I mean, I'm just talking about what I'm going to talk about. So, A-Double obviously from the Milltown here, the Milwaukee area, so we're always proud to see him doing what he does. The only problem I had with his whole speech was maybe they should get rid of the weight limits, make it just anybody. I thought the X division was no weight limits, no rules, or no weight limits, no something. But there wasn't a weight, wasn't a weight limit. Joe was an X division champion.
Right.
I think he made the weight limit. So just a flaw, just a tiny little hiccup in the promo. Alex Shelley back. He used the whole bag of dye this time, just in one section of his hair. It's nice to see him back. It'll be great to see him wrestle. His promos I never thought were the best, but glad to see him back. And again, if that means Sabin's on his way, he's going to work with A-Double for a little bit, and then Sabin should be coming next, I'll be happy to see the Machine Guns back. So.
Absolutely.
We also had EY taking on Angelina Love. Eric, not happy about wrestling a girl, didn't want to beat on a girl, tried to lock up with the catering chick, the one that was and in that segment, I was a little upset with the blatant promotion of Bellator, which is coming, apparently working hand in hand with TNA. I didn't like it. I'm watching wrestling for wrestling, not to see promotions for other stuff, but be that as may. EY and ODB, again, fun stuff, good stuff. I was a little uncomfortable with ODB grabbing on EY's junk. It's a little awkward.
That was, yeah.
I mean, because I know we're not watching WWE, but she went for his package. And, Tenay, of course, said, whoa, save that for another room. So, finally, James Storm and Jeff Hardy's #1 contender match ending in a no contest when Bully Ray hit the ref with a chain. Bully Ray then laid out everybody else with chains, referees included. Sting came down with a bat, ran him off, but Bobby Roode came back and then decked Hardy and Storm with the belt. James Storm, Jeff Hardy, both, DQ, or excuse me, no contest, and Roode standing in the ring at the end of the show, standing the heel champion, standing over everybody. So I thought it was solid at that point.
Yeah, if I could change one thing about this segment, it would be Sting's involvement. Sting as the lone cowboy, security is better suited for that, or if they want to go old school and have the locker room come out, Sting being the enforcer it just doesn't sit well. And the fact that Bully Ray took a swing at Sting, it just shows that the lines between the wrestler and the authority figure are so blurred that somebody else should be out with Sting doing this. Maybe this is where we bring in D'Lo and Al Snow or whoever. Just somebody other than Sting.
And as many people have said, Meathead or Simon Diamond.
Right.
Because apparently I look just like Simon Diamond, I've been told. But anyway, let's get back into the phones. We're going to jump now over to area code 402. 402, give us your first name, where state you're calling from.
Hey, this is Stefan from Nebraska. How you doing?
Nebraska, one of the Cornhuskers. Welcome to the Big Ten. What do you want to talk about tonight?
I was going to make a mention and comment on what you're talking about earlier about the lights and the lighting showing the crowd off. Definitely towards the end, you could tell they were piping in the sounds a lot. Like, nobody was doing anything. No one really cared. But they made it sound like everyone was booing them, Robert Roode, and you could just tell nobody really cared or was that excited to be there. And that
sitting on hands. Yep.
Yeah, it definitely
felt like sitting on hands. Yep.
So I was thinking, the lighting, darkening the lighting so you can't tell, or at least I think you mentioned it last week about piping in some visuals of the crowd at least doing something, like pre-recording where the crowd did something would do something.
Right, exactly. Go to some cutaways or something. But, it's taken me out of the mood of what's going on in the show. Dwayne, I know you feel the same way about this, but it's awkward. It's real awkward.
Yeah, presentation is key. I mean, you'd think they would know, do that, focus on that a little bit more because, like you said, it takes you out of it. Like, I was really enjoying the main event, but that just kind of, it killed it because it's like if the crowd doesn't care, then why should I care type of deal.
All right. Anything else you want to talk about tonight? Give us a pass or fail as far as Impact.
I'd say pass. It was still a good show, and I think it's improving. But, yeah, just little touches like that would be nice. But, no, that's all I had to talk about. You guys have a great night.
Yeah, you too. Thanks for calling in. Don't forget to give us a call next week. If you want to get in the show, we got a couple minutes left. 877-317-9772. Otherwise, area code 347-996-5278. Dwayne, give us a quick rundown. I know that you saw the 3 TNA talents that are quote-unquote officially released now from TNA, but your feelings on each one. If you didn't know who they are already, it's Jesse Neal.
Jackie,
and Jackie. So give us a quick rundown of how you feel about each one of them.
Nobody comes off as a surprise to me. I always like to see Jackie, but Jesse Neal, I mean, really no surprise here. And unfortunately for these guys, I don't see any of them going to WWE. And I guess Jackie is just probably done altogether. Jesse Neal, do you see a possibility maybe to go to Ring of Honor?
I would like to see Jesse Neal in Ring of Honor.
Jesse Neal, I'm sorry,
yeah, let him get out and actually work the independents as well, not just Ring of Honor, but get out and work the independent show. Let people know that your booking fee is this, and call your quote-unquote Dave Heroes or, anybody else, and try to work those shows and get out there. So that's what I would. We're going to take one more call. I believe we've got area code 901. Make sure you give us your first name and the state you're calling from. 901.
What's up, Meathead?
Hey, what's up? Who is this?
This is Curryhead, man.
Curryhead. All right, Curryhead. Hey, unfortunately you called it, or we got you at the end of the show, but 60 seconds. Welcome to Sudden Impact. What do you want to talk about real quick?
Oh, before I start, Meathead, I did like the roast beef of Mickie James and Gail Kim. I did love that roast beef match. It made me real.
Thank you for throwing it back old school with the Mickie James reference. But how did you find Impact tonight? Was it a pass or a fail?
I did like Impact. I did like how they did with the promo with Eric Bischoff's son. At least that's like the one of the few times they actually did building him up with